Ready.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited. I have a very special guest. Her name is Georgina Lamontagne, soon to be Dr. Georgie Lamontagne. She is a third-year dental student at McGill University, and I'm very excited to have her here. She spent many summers and time with us in our clinic, and really I knew she was right for dentistry right from the beginning. She's very artistic, very smart, and probably one of the hardest working people in the room. So I'm really happy to have her here because I want to ask her some questions and share with you, some of her insights, and hopefully maybe some of you are interested in doing something like this or you want to hear more about her story. If you do, let's get started. So welcome, Georgie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here today.
Oh my God, it's so awesome. I'm so glad we got a chance to
Yes, for sure. The busy holiday schedule.
It's busy. It's busy. So this is your last day. You're about to go back to McGill.
It's my last day before I go back to Montreal.
Yeah. So for any of you who don't already know us, Georgie and I have been living across the street from one another for many years now, probably 12 years, I think, or
12, 13 years.
Yeah. So Georgie was just a little girl when I first met her, and her mom and dad, of course, we were very good friends, and we've really gotten to know her over the years and see her and go through high school and now undergrad, and now you're in dental school. So I just thought it would be really nice to share your story with people and kind of tell them some little bits about, how you're finding things and learn more about you.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah. So if you want to just start, maybe give us a little bit of your background. Yeah.
So yeah, in high school I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to go into. I knew I loved sciences. I also loved working with people. And I wasn't really interested in going into medicine. And Peggy came over and she, of course, at one dinner party, she was like, why don't you go into dentistry? It would be perfect. You love being creative.
I try to talk everybody into this, by the way. It's not the first.
But then I thought about it, and then I came and spent a little bit of time in your office. Already in high school, I was spending time in your office a little bit, shadowing. And then in undergrad, I came in the summer. I would spend quite a bit of time here in the summer. And I really saw how you could have an awesome career as a dentist. You could have all this, the people kind of work, right? You're working with people every day, which I loved. So I did lots of stuff with people. I love that, but I also love sciences. So, and then I did a bit of research too. And that summer that I did my research project, I was kind of like, oh, I could never really just work in a lab all day. So I love the idea of mixing science with the whole social aspect. So that's why I really decided that, and after spending a lot of time, of course, with Peggy and all her awesome relationships that she has with her patients, I was like, dentistry has to be. And
I would have to add to that maybe your artistic side.
Oh yes, and I always
her
loved
mom's very artistic, and of course Georgie is too. So.
I always loved doing art, so that exactly was
and
what really drew me.
And there is a big component to that.
You
get to be really creative, and you get to be really artistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's what drew me to dentistry.
Yeah. So now right now you're in your third year at McGill.
Yeah.
And I understand you actually got into a number of dental schools, but you chose McGill. You chose, being in that area for any particular reason why you chose McGill, would you say? Or?
Well, I really liked how McGill, of course, has a very small class size, which is awesome, and you really have your own. You have your own operatory in the clinic that you share with a fourth year, so you always have your own operatory. You're not, which I think Dalhousie has that too.
Yeah, but so I graduated from Dalhousie.
But the bigger universities don't always have that. So I was really lucky that I got into McGill and I was able to choose that. And also, I thought it was cool that at McGill you do your first year and a half with the med students. So you get a very solid grounding in medicine, which I think is really important going into dentistry. Yeah. It's really important to understand how the mouth and the full body health is connected. Yeah. Because as we all know, it's becoming more and more studied that a lot of systemic diseases are related to dental diseases. So it's really cool to get that full understanding of the medical background. And I love Montreal, of course. So I had to.
You have some roots in
Quebec. Yes, I have some roots in Montreal. I was actually born in Montreal, so I had loved the idea of going back there just for to do my degree.
Yeah. So you did an undergrad in sciences, and where did you do your undergrad?
So I did my undergrad at Bishop's. Okay. So it's a small undergraduate university, also in Quebec, but in Sherbrooke, Quebec, close to Sherbrooke. And so it's a small school. I loved going to a small school because you really got to know your professors and you got to be really involved. It was easy to be involved, right? Everyone was involved, and it wasn't like a huge school where you're in giant classes and you're kind of like struggling to keep up with the you know, like you had the support of everyone, of your classmates, of your profs. So I really had an awesome time at Bishop's. I'm so thankful that I went to Bishop's.
And you did a lot of leadership things
exactly.
at Bishop's too,
oh,
I
yeah.
understand, right?
Yeah, so that was really, I think that was really vital in becoming a strong applicant for dentistry, was getting involved. So I was like the head of the pre-med club, which was kind of pre-med dentistry because we didn't have a dental club, so, you know, it was kind of the same thing. And I also was involved in the med life club, so we actually did a mission trip to Peru where we provided dental care to people in Peru in really isolated like rural villages that they did not own toothbrushes. Like we brought them supplies, and it was really, really neat. So that was cool. I got to do a lot of cool things with Bishop's, the Big Sibs group and everything, and I did so many interesting things.
So it's interesting how you kind of fell into this. And so now you're in third year, so this year you're actually seeing patients, right? So what have you, are you enjoying?
I'm loving it. I am loving it. There's a big learning curve when you start to see patients because of course we learn on, we don't just go right into doing dentistry in patients. We first start with a mannequin, like a kind of a fake head with fake teeth, plastic teeth that you can change so you can learn how to do all the procedures you do on a real person, but first on a fake person. But then transitioning to real patients is really fun because of course now you have the whole psychological aspect to work with. You're working with a real person, you're talking to them, you're making sure they're comfortable, you're explaining,
a whole different world.
Exactly, you're explaining to them why they need this treatment, why they should do this option or not this option, or maybe one option is better than the other, and there's a whole ton of things that go along with real people. So I really...
What were some of the things that you think really helped you get into dental school? Because a lot of people do apply and sometimes don't make it, or they kind of worry that they're not ready. And you know, maybe there's some things you could share with us that really you feel that were pivotal in your application, and what maybe helped you get accepted, because you did get accepted in more than one dental school, so that maybe you saw a number of different things that maybe kind of helped you with that.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, everyone thinks right away grades, right? And grades are very important, I would say. But you also need to make sure that there's a bit more of like a well-rounded, like you need to present yourself as a well-rounded person. So of course, doing well in your class is kind of the main priority, but you also want to, what I tried to do at least was I tried to kind of do some volunteering, get involved in different clubs at my university. So for example, you can do anything for volunteering. I would really suggest doing stuff that you really enjoy doing yourself, either way, you know? That you would do even if you weren't trying to, it's not like for your application, something that you would enjoy doing, because
when you're... be the authentic you know?
Because when you're working so hard to get like good grades, you also want to give yourself a bit of a break when you're volunteering to do something that you enjoy, that's enjoyable. So for example, I really like doing art, as we mentioned before. So I went to the seniors home actually in KV, and we kind of organized a little, this was in the summer when I was off for the summer and during undergrad, and we would do a little seniors art group. So we would go, my mom would help me out a little bit, sometimes she would come in or give me some ideas of art lessons, because of course she is an art teacher too. And I would go in and I would teach the seniors a little art lesson. So we would do some painting or some drawing or every time something really a little different. And just hanging out with the seniors, talking to them, hearing their life stories. It was really fun. So that was just a quick little example of something that I did that I really enjoyed.
Yes.
So I would say, making sure you get involved in your school in extracurriculars and in volunteering, and making sure also it does show interest, of course, if you go volunteer in a dental office. So I think a very strong area in my application was that I was able to learn a lot about dentistry, just little things from Peggy, from being here during the summer. So whenever I would come home for the summer, I would make sure to come in and shadow you and work in your office, answer the phone sometimes, do anything I could to
all kinds of things.
Yeah, anything that I could to get involved and to kind of learn as much as I could about the dental world. Like nothing technical, just being here and
being
watching,
immersed in it and seeing how the day flows. And that is helped you also be sure that you
I would
saw
enjoy
everything,
the profession.
Right? Profession is not always glamorous, but there's all kinds of parts to it that you need to see every part.
Exactly. So I think that was a very good thing that I was really happy that I got to have that experience in your office.
We were happy to have you. We were just opening this new clinic. This was 5 years ago, and for the summer that you were here, and it was very hectic, and I didn't actually have enough team members. So Georgie was very helpful, as you can imagine. Everybody appreciated having her here. So.
And I had a blast. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think the DAT, or you wrote the?
Yes, I wrote. Okay, so that's another thing. Give yourself a few years to write. Like, don't just write it the year before you're going to apply. Write it 2 years before you're going to apply. So I wrote it 2 years before I applied. So I wrote it after my second year of undergrad. And I thought that was really good because I had, or during my third year, because yeah, you can only write the DAT in November and February, I think it is. Yeah. So I wrote it during my third year and again during my fourth year. So I gave myself a bit of a buffer in case I didn't get the mark that I wanted to get. So I wrote it the first time, I saw what it was all about, and then I knew going into the second time I wasn't as nervous writing it because I had already written it, so I kind of knew what to expect a little bit more. Even just about how it is when you're the test center environment and everything like that, that can make you very nervous. So it was great for me to write it a second time and have that experience under my belt from the first time I wrote it.
Yeah. Now, and they don't always weigh in on that, and some dental schools don't even use the DAT at this point.
Yeah, some don't, but I think most do. I think most still do. Okay. Not every component, but most do use some components, yeah.
Okay, so and now you're in third year, but can you tell us a little bit about what each year is like?
Sure,
in dental school? I know first year is sort of more basic, but can you just go into a little bit about each year? Yeah.
So at McGill, at least, McGill has a bit of a different system, I think, than other dental schools. But so at McGill, the first year and a half, you're with the med students. Okay. But so basically, we go through every system of the body. So we start with, first we start with public health, and then we do digestion, cardiology, respirology, all the systems of the body. So we got to learn a very comprehensive kind of framework about the basics of medicine. And then at the same time as you're doing that, you also have a few dental classes. So you do wax ups. You have wax up labs. So you learn the anatomy of teeth. You learn your dental anatomy, which is the super basics of dentistry.
I'll never forget my days in the lab.
Oh yeah, spending hours waxing up one tooth. So we did that. It's really great it kind of like lets you work on that artistic side of dentistry, and it's fun. It's very fun. And so that was kind of our little break from medicine. It was fun to go into the dental clinic and the dental faculty and learn some dentistry.
Feel like you were actually doing something towards your...
Yeah. So we had a few basic dental classes mixed in with our medicine. And then after that, second year, second semester, when we started, so we had a full month of just the theory of dentistry, the bare bone, kind of like the bottom, the foundations of dentistry it's called. So we learned everything from like the very cellular level of dentistry all the way to kind of the bigger things, the macro stuff. So that was very intense, but a lot of fun. It was really
puts a lot of pressure on yourself.
it was really fun to finally be in dentistry at that point.
Yeah.
And then after that, for the whole winter of your second year at McGill at least, you have what's called pre-clinic. So you're learning all of your hand-eye kind of skills, all of your manual dexterity you're learning in the pre-clinic for 6 months, even less than, about 5 months actually. And so you're doing all the procedures that you would do on a real person, but you're doing it in a mannequin. So you have like a fake head in front of you, fake teeth like that you can change. You can, if you make a mistake, you just put a new tooth in, which is very nice because you can practice, and you're just practicing
and you're being judged. And
yes, you're doing the kind of hands-on exams. You have, of course, you have some theory as well, and that was really that was a big learning curve.
That was when I came to visit you.
You came to visit me, yeah.
And then I got to do a crown prep on a dental form.
Yeah, I was like, how do I do this crown prep?
This is how you do it faster.
Yeah.
Because speed is not considered at that point. They just want you to go really slow and take your time. But for me, I was like, oh, I can show you how to do it faster. Yeah, but that's fun.
That's the whole. So pre-clinic is really like spending late nights and weekends. Every weekend you'd be in there. You'd be practicing your skill, because that's the big part of dentistry, learning how to use your hands, right?
Right.
And then in third year, which is what I'm in now we started to see real patients, which is amazing. It's so much fun. I'm having a great time with that. It's really nice having a real person in your chair to be able to speak to and understand, make them try to really educate them and seeing the results. Yeah, and of course it's totally different than the ideal form that we did in the pre-clinic. Now it's really considering all these other factors in our lives. And so that's third year. And then actually the fun thing about the winter semester is we start to do outreach. So outreach is basically when we go with a mobile dental clinic into the community. we go to these areas of people that cannot afford to go and get dental care themselves, and we provide them free treatment. So that's starting in winter, and I'm really excited for that. So it's going to be really fun.
We did something similar at Bown too.
Yeah. So then 4th year again is you're seeing patients. You're doing a lot more, more difficult procedures. You're kind of seeing more patients because you get your speed up a little bit. Now I'm seeing like 1 patient a day. In 4th year, you see a few more.
Yeah, and are you placing implants or things like that?
Yeah,
or do you have to do
I start
special?
that actually now, yeah. I mean, I'm not placing them, but I'm doing the
let's do-
radiographic guides and everything.
Yeah,
so.
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, so it's a little bit just more geared towards the patient.
Exactly, yeah. So.
Okay, well, thank you, Georgie.
No problem. Well, thank you, Peggy, for having me on your channel today.
You're welcome.
It was fun.
Nice to have you.
Yeah. So if anyone has any more questions about specifically McGill Dentistry, you can always find me on the McGill Dentistry Ambassadors page.
Yeah,
you can go in there, and my email is there. If you want to send me any questions, feel free.
Yeah, well, thank you. I bet they will appreciate that. And so, yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the content, or if you'd like to leave a comment, do so. And otherwise, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.